using substitution. The most common mistakes that I will see as people are solving these is that this is going to be a positive 6. Then you have a minus 4y plus 4y equals negative 6. Since the negative 4y and positive 4y are on the same side of the equal sign, that's going to give us 0. So when I add those together, I get 6 equals negative 6. This is a false statement. Since it is a false statement, we put no solution. Was at 0, 2. So if I am doing that first line at 0, 2, I'm going to go up 2. From that point, I'm going down 3 and over 2, down 3 over 2, and I'm going to continue doing that, going down. I am also going to go up 3 and back 2, so that I can draw a nice straight line. Some of you, one of the things I notice is you just leave the dots and you don't draw lines. If I don't see the line on your paper, when we take the quiz tomorrow, I'm probably going to mark that wrong. So we want to draw that equation. Next thing we want to do is we want to go to that second equation, that pink one, and we are going to draw that line. This one starts at negative 2. So we go down to 0, negative 2, and it has a slope of up 1 and over 2. And right away, we get that point of intersection. So that point of intersection that we are looking at for our answer is over 2 and down 1. Yeah?
In the back it says...
Yeah, so it's wrong. I thought it said 2, negative 1 for that one. Okay? So we can add that one. Solving real-world problems.
Okay. It says the number of right-handed students in the math class is 9 times the number of left-handed students. The total number of students in the class is 30.
So using this information, we want to write a system. Now I had someone in the last class go, oh, I can tell what it is. The 2 students, the right and left-handed, I can figure it out without doing a system. I agree. But if we do not start with simple systems, then it's really hard to do a complex one. So we're going to put this parenthesis in front, and instead of using X and Y, we're going to say the right-handed students, so R equals. What do you think, Amy, if it says 9 times the left? 9 times L. Do I have to put a dot for 9 times L? No, I can just put 9L. You should be writing. My second equation is going to be the number of students. Well, we have right and left-handed. So R plus L is equal to the number of people in our class, which is 30. So when I look at my equations, I have 2 equations. I am now going to solve them. And in this case, this is a perfect one for substitution. So I am going to write my new equation, and in place of R, I'm going to put 9L plus L equals 30. I'm solving that by adding my like terms and getting 10L equals 30. And then I divide both sides by 10. Which makes sense. The number of left-handed people, there are only 3. Does it matter which equation, Nick, I'd go to find the number of right-handed? No? Which one do you want to use? First one? So I'm going to take 9 times 3. So to find the right-handed, I'm taking 9 times 3, which is 27. Would I have got the same answer if I would have taken 3 here and subtracted it from 30? I still would have got 27 students. So it doesn't matter which equation we're using. We just want to make sure we use both of them. Okay?
Another tree at the nursery is 4 feet tall and grows an average rate of 0.5.
This is almost trying to tell you slope, intercept. What do we mean by slope intercept? Y equals mx, that's our slope, plus b, our intercept. Intercept is the start point. Please make sure you write this in your notes. So I am looking at tree 1. Jennifer, tree 1 starts how tall? the first tree. The plant has growing a tree that is 3 feet tall, and its rate of change, its slope is, so we're going to go 1x plus 3. James W., we need a second tree. I'm going to call it y sub 2. How fast is it growing? 0.5x plus 4. Now, I had someone in the last class say they'd want to do this with elimination. You could. I personally think you're trying to find when the trees are the same height. So why not put y equal to y? Please write that on your paper. So Carter, the first y was equal to what?
1x plus 3.
1x plus 3. Please write that. The second y was equal, Asa, to
0.5x plus 4.
We want to get all the x's on one side. Karina, if I want to get all the x's on one side, what might you do first? Do you want to subtract 0.5 or 1? 0.5. So we're going to minus 0.5x from both sides, right? When I subtract 0.5x, I'm left with 0.5x plus 3 equals 4. Ashley, what are you going to do next to get the 0.5x by itself? So you're going to subtract 3. So when we subtract 3 as we are looking at that one, we get 0.5x equals 1. Take your calculator out. It is not equal to a half, right? You're dividing 1 by 0.5. We are talking that the trees will be the same height, and you don't want to just leave it as x equals for your answer, which 1 divided by 0.5 came out to be 2. But our answer is in how many years? So x equals 2 is the variable. You want to tell me 2 years. Please read this problem 3.
At a local fitness center, members pay at a one-time 45 membership fee and $50 for every acrobatic class that they attend. Non-members pay $5 for every acrobatic class that they attend.
So we want to write a system, and again, this one is telling us a fee per class. I'm going to say that x is equal to my aerobics classes. So please write x equals aerobic class, and y is going to equal the cost, how much money. So if I am a member, y equals, what are you thinking, Grace? How much do they have to pay per class? $3. So y equals, we're going to say 3x, but they also have to pay what? $20. Jacqueline, we're going to now look at our non-members. How much are they paying per class? $5x. We're not going to solve this one, but as you look at this, this would be pretty easy again to use elimination. Put the y equal to y. Now I just want you to notice that sometimes you're going to see different variables in the back instead of x and y. Is it wrong? No. Why did they use t? Total cost. Why did they use c? Classes. So if you don't like x and y and you want to use the variable that makes sense for the problem, do it either way. You should have solved this one and got 10 classes. We're not going to do that right now. Okay? Julia, on the next one, would you please read this next one with a break even?
Rankin can invest $10,000 in equipment to print yearbooks for the school. Each yearbook costs $5 to print and sell within 5. How many yearbooks must we sell before the business breaks even when income is
So we are going to be looking at income, and we are going to be looking at our expenses. When we think about our income, we are going to think about the money we are making. So we might put the cost of the yearbook, so the C, how much money it cost me, is equal to how much yearbooks we sell. And they're selling the yearbooks for $25 a book. So 25 times B, my book. But when I have expenses, it costs me how much to make each book? $5 per book. But I also had to spend $10,000 on my equipment. Make sure you have these two equations written down. This again would be a perfect one where we are going to put C equal to C, and you would solve it with 25B is equal to 5B plus 10,000. And if you looked at this equation, most of you could probably finish solving that equation. I'm going to show you the answer to that one. In that, when they did this equation, when we were showing it, they used y and x. Does it matter, again, if you use C and B or y and x? No. You should have solved and had 20B equal 10,000, and you would have divided and got 500 yearbooks. Okay. Questions?
One acute triangle.
One acute,
In a
not
right
triangle, angle, right?
In a right triangle is 4 times the measure of the other acute angle. Right assistant model problem.
And we're trying to find the two measures of the 3 acute angles. So, when you look, please draw a right triangle up towards the top. So, thinking of our right triangles from earlier this year when we did our Pythagorean theorem, we know that if this is a right angle, we already know one of our angles is 90 degrees, right? This is the acute angle X. This is another acute angle Y. If we are looking at this problem, Lisa, which acute angle do you want to start with, X or Y? X is equal to, it says 4 times the measure of the other. So X equals 4 what, Lisa? 4y. This one is 90. It's not part of our equation. So Sadie, what do I know about angle X and Y together? They have to add up to how many degrees in a triangle? If this one is already 90. How much? Another 90. Now, when I show you the equations that they wrote down, they solved it doing it a little differently. They did X plus Y plus 90 equals 180. If I was solving this one as you're looking at it, what do you think, Julia? Substitution or elimination? As we look at the problem. We could pretty easily, right, replace the X with 4Y and then add Y to get 90. Fisher, if I was doing that, 4Y plus Y gives us 5y equals 90. And if I'm solving that one, James S, when I divide 90 by 5, I get, do you have a calculator? Okay, you should grab one. 18. Could we easily find out what the other angle is? So I have 90, I have 18 degrees. Can I take 90 and minus 18? Would that give me the other angle? Yeah. Could I take 18 times 4? Yes. Does it matter which way you do it? Nope. So if we're taking 90 minus 18, we end up with 72. So those are my 3. These are my 2 equations. Okay? Last one before we start on your homework. So if we're reading the last one, Ashton, please read.
The theater club sells a total of 101 tickets to its first play. A student ticket costs $1 and an adult ticket costs $50. The total ticket sales are $164.
So as we are taking a look at this,
Yeah, man.
we want to start, and we are going to put the number of tickets. So please write number of tickets. And put the cost. When I look at writing the number of tickets, how many tickets total did we sell if I'm looking at this, Carter? How many tickets, people that went to it? So I'm going to put A plus C equals 101. Nick, how much did each adult ticket cost? So I'm going to put 2.5A. Plus, Amy, how much did each children's ticket cost? Or student ticket? $1. Why am I using C instead of S? Because I think for some of you, your S's look like 5. So children, student, kind of the same thing, equals 164. Okay? This one is a perfect elimination. I would try and eliminate the C's. What would I need to multiply, Evan, in order to eliminate the C's?
-1.
Okay, so I'm going to take the first equation times -1. When I do that, I'm going to put -1A minus 1C equals a -101. The second equation stays the same. 2.5A plus 1C equals 164. We're going to add those together. Gentlemen, you can go out to the team center. Adult tickets sold was 42 tickets. We don't need to leave it as A equals. And now to find the student ones, all we really have to do is maybe in that first equation, 42 plus the children equal 101. And I had someone say, well, do I have to write that down, or couldn't I just take 101 minus 42? Yes. Which gives us 59 student tickets. Okay. So the main thing in your homework that I'm looking for is that you write the equations. Myself and Mr. Johnson are going to kind of help you. We're going to do question 1 and 3. So if you turn back in your workbook, please, to n equals what? Julianne?
N equals 18 plus 5.
Yes. At this point, I do not need you to solve it. Could you solve it? You're going to put these two things equal to each other, right? So if you were going to solve this one, you'd put 30 plus 1m is equal to 18 plus 5m. And you solve for x. So you have to solve half of the 10, okay? I want you to skip number 2 right now, and I want you to write number 3. I want you to write the equation for Mary and Victor. Try that. Yeah, hard.
N equals 21 plus 3m.
21 plus 3 a month. And if we are looking at Victor's then, what do you have?
14 plus 4.
14 plus 4. The reason I wanted you to leave number 2 is number 2 seems to be a little harder for people. First thing I want you to do for number 2 is this your same number 2? Yeah. It's 46. Okay. So the first thing we are going to take a look is we want to draw a picture of a rectangle. We have to, so I have got the last class started drawing on this. Width and length, right? Do you agree going around your rectangle? And you have another length and width. And when we take a look at that problem, first off, what does the first sentence tell us? It says the length of the rectangle is 3 centimeters more than 3 times the width. So when we read that first statement, what we want to take a look as we read this, that the length is 3 times the width, 3 more than 3 times the width, we need to write that. So how do we write that equation? We write that as L equals 3 more is plus 3. 3 times the width is 3W. So this is going to be one of your equations. Does that make sense to everyone? L equals 3W, 3 times the width, and then 3 more. Okay? The next equation deals with perimeter. How do we find perimeter? They tell us the perimeter is 46. How do we find perimeter? Add up all the sides. So I'm going to give you a variety of equations that you could use. You could say 46, which is our perimeter, right? 46 is what they tell us, is equal to length plus width plus length plus width. Okay? That's a perfect equation. But some of you don't like that equation for perimeter. What's a different one we could use?
2W plus 2L equals 46.
I could put 46 equals 2L plus 2W. Yeah, so you still don't like that equation. Is there another equation that we could use? We could say 46 is our perimeter is equal to 2 times with a parenthesis L plus W. So I don't care which of those three equations in red you decide to use, but you're going to use one of them, and then you are going to use this equation that's over here, okay? You need to solve 5 of these. You need to write the equations for all of them. The equations and the answers are in the back. What we want to do for the next, about 8 minutes or so in class, Mr. Johnson and myself will be walking around, we'll be helping you. You're going to try and just write the equation. So go to number 4, try to write the equation. Go to number 5, 6, 7, 8, try